I'm just waiting for you to bowl him something like, I once graffiti with my dick. Anarchy! Ladies and gentlemen, a gentleman who's never taped a Sharpie to his genitals, please welcome to the stage, it's Struan Sutherland!
It's a good interview. One of the things that makes me jealous of horses is that if one of them grew a horn, everyone would think it was a magical creature, that they would love it and lavish it with attention. But if I grew a horn, then I would just be the guy who you stop inviting over to your house because he keeps poking holes in the ceiling. Here's some good advice. If you're having trouble looking on the bright side in life, use basic multiplication. For instance, if somebody that you love has just died, you can say to yourself, well, at least somebody I love twice as much didn't die. Or if you're a quadriplegic, then you can say, well, at least I'm not a centiplegic. If I had to guess, what species of animal had the most inner conflict, I would say a bald eagle, because it combines being an eagle, which is a symbol of power and authority, with being bald, which is a symbol of God punishing you for being a sexual deviant. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think it seems very fair that people who are capable of verbal communication are never the ones who get trapped in invisible boxes. At this point, I would normally do my impression of actor Steven Seagal. But I recently discovered from his A&E documentary series, Steven Seagal, Lawman, that he's actually a real-life police officer. So that means that it's illegal to impersonate him. I think it's pretty strange that horror movies are always about people getting murdered. Because death is only the number 2 fear. I think that there should be a horror movie where a masked man goes around forcing people to speak publicly. And it would be scariest if he was also a doctor, because then you can't trick him by pretending to have laryngitis. One of my favorite casino games is roulette. But if you're ever unexpectedly invited to join a game, make sure that it's the North American kind, because in Russia the rules are way different. If you do find yourself in that situation, despite my advice, then the best thing to do is convince them instead to play a game of Russian Boggle. That way, rather than risk your own life, you'll just have to carve letters of the alphabet into the backs of several stray dogs. Here's something that makes me really angry. Silent letters. How do they get away with it? Letters were invented as a visual representation of an audible sound. So a silent letter is like when my parents hired that guy to come fix the water softener, and he just stood in my bedroom doorway the whole time, staring at me and sucking his teeth, and never even went down to the basement. Only thing that I like about silent letters is that they don't keep trying to make you smell their fingers. The best magic trick is the one where the magician asks for a volunteer from the audience. And you put up your hand because you want to mess up his trick and prove to everyone that he's a fraud. And he invites you up on stage and puts you in a box. And his assistant tells you to take off your clothes because they want to take your clothes and put them on a bunch of celery and pretend that they trained you into a celery man. You don't want to do it, but then they start threatening your family. And so you take off your clothes and slip out through the back panel to hide from the audience. Then the curtain falls, and you realize that you're standing alone and naked on stage, and the crowd applauds. Then the assistant ushers you out through the back door. Before you realize what's happening, you're outside and they haven't given you your clothes back. Now you have to walk home because you don't have your keys and the taxis won't stop for you. Right. It's a half-hour walk through downtown. You have to hide behind mailboxes and lampposts, and then you get home and you're cold and wet because it's raining a little bit. And door's locked, so you have to break in through the side window. And you get inside and you feel relieved because you think that it's all over, but then you realize that there's somebody in your bed. And you pull back the covers, and it's you. Except you're made of celery. And in the hand of the celery man, there's a playing card. And it's exactly the one that you were just thinking of. And the second best magic trick is the one where the magician pretends that he stole your nose. Thanks.
Two of my favorite things, public nudity and magic, into one joke. As if tonight's theme were planned. Strange.